I'm 84 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that may be the most important thing you hear this year. You are running out of time. Not someday, not eventually, right now. Every sunrise that passes is one less sunrise waiting for you. I am not saying that to frighten you. I am saying it because most people spend the final chapter of their lives acting as if they have endless tomorrows. They postpone joy, postpone dreams, postpone conversations, postpone living. Then one day they discover the calendar has been moving much faster than they realized. And what breaks my heart is this: the time people treasure most is usually the time they wasted first. Today, I want to help you stop doing that, because whether you have 20 years left or 2, those years can become the richest years of your entire life, but only if you stop giving them away. My name is Henry. I'm 84 years old. Before we continue, please tell me your age in the comments, and if you believe time is more valuable than money after 70, like this video now, because the next lesson may save you years that many older adults lose without even realizing it. The first thing you must stop doing is carrying regret. I once knew a man named Frank. Every conversation somehow returned to the same story, a job opportunity he turned down when he was 32. 40 years later, he still talked about it as if it had happened yesterday. One afternoon, I found him sitting alone in his garage, staring at an old toolbox, replaying the same memory for the 1,000th time. Then he said something I will never forget. One decision ruined my life. But the tragedy was not the decision. The tragedy was that he spent 40 years serving a life sentence for a crime that no longer existed. One mistake rarely destroys a life. Living inside it often does. Regret feels productive because it keeps us busy, but regret never fixes the past. It only steals today. And maybe there is something you still replay too, a relationship, a choice, a missed opportunity. If so, ask yourself one question: how many more years are you willing to pay interest on a debt that can never be collected? Put the suitcase down. The second thing you must stop doing is living for other people's approval. You would think people outgrow this by 70. Most do not. I knew a woman who wanted to learn painting for decades. She talked about it constantly. Then she would laugh and say, "People my age don't do that." One day, her grandson asked her a question that changed everything. "Grandma, who made that rule?" She had no answer. A month later, she enrolled in a class. Her first paintings were terrible. She knew they were terrible. Everyone knew they were terrible. But she smiled more during those 6 months than she had in years. She made friends, found purpose, started waking up excited again. Most of the limits in our lives were never locked doors. They were imaginary fences. And maybe there is something you still want to do, something you keep postponing because you worry what others might think. Here is the truth: the people whose approval you fear are too busy worrying about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. And if you're still here, please like this video, because the next story may be the one you remember for the rest of your life. The third thing you must stop doing is waiting for permission to be happy. This one breaks my heart because I see it everywhere. People waiting for better health, waiting for more money, waiting for their children to call more often, waiting for life to finally become perfect before they allow themselves joy. But life never becomes perfect. My grandmother lost 2 children, survived poverty, and buried friends she loved deeply. Yet every morning before sunrise she stepped outside, took one deep breath, looked at the sky, and said the same 4 words: "Thank you for another one, another sunrise, another breath, another chance." Gratitude is not something you feel after life gets easier. Gratitude is what makes life feel lighter. The happiest older adults I have ever met were not the luckiest. They were the most grateful. Then something happened that taught me an even bigger lesson. A woman named Margaret spent nearly 10 years chasing a relationship with her daughter, 10 years of unanswered calls, unopened letters, rejected invitations. Her entire life became centered around one person who no longer wanted to be there. One day she sat across from me looking exhausted and said, "I have nothing left." And honestly, she was right. She had sacrificed friendships, hobbies, and experiences trying to repair something she could not control. You cannot love someone back into your life if they have chosen to leave it. That truth is painful, but it is also freeing. Eventually, Margaret stopped waiting by the phone. She joined a quilting group, started volunteering, made new friends, rebuilt her life, and then something surprising happened. Her daughter finally called, not because Margaret chased harder, because she stopped chasing. Sometimes people only come back when you stop pulling. And if this video resonates with you, please subscribe now, because the next video may help you avoid a mistake that many older adults don't recognize until years of their life have already slipped away. The final lesson came from a couple named George and Helen. They had been married 51 years. Helen dreamed of seeing the ocean just once. She had never seen it. Every year, George promised, next year when the truck is paid off, when the bills calm down, when life gets easier, next year became their favorite excuse. Then Helen got sick. Suddenly, there was no guarantee of next year. George drove 14 hours. When they arrived, he carried her across the sand because she was too weak to walk alone. I can still picture it, the wind, the waves. Helen sitting quietly, tears running down her face as she looked at the ocean for the first time. Then she turned to George and asked one simple question. Why did we wait so long? He never had an answer. Because there was no good answer. There never is. Next year is where dreams go to die. Helen passed away 4 months later. George told me those 3 days were the best days of their entire marriage, not because they were extraordinary, because they finally stopped postponing joy. And maybe you have an ocean too. Maybe it is not a beach. Maybe it is a phone call, a trip, a friendship, a hobby, a dream you keep pushing into the future. Stop waiting. The calendar does not negotiate. Time does not slow down. One day the opportunity becomes a memory you never created. So eat the good meal, take the trip, watch the sunset, call the friend, plant the flowers, start the project. Because after 84 years, I can tell you this with complete certainty. The richest people are not the ones who own the most. They are the ones who collected the most moments while they still could. Subscribe now, because the next video may help you protect the years you have left before they quietly slip away. I'm Henry, and I'll see you in the next.